Peter. Thank you. Thank you. A finance minister has to come with a appropriation bill. It's known to everybody. It has been the practice. It will continue. But when a government like the present government comes to the House with such a bill, we are obliged to ask a question. How this money was spent? For what purpose it was spent? In what direction the government wants to lead this country's economy? So on all these questions, we are not having a promising answers. I must say, not the fault of a finance minister, the fault of a government led by a very disastrous policy on its economics. Sir, everybody was talking about some other languages, but I want to speak in my mother tongue one sentence. ഞാൻ ഈ ബില്ലിനെ എതിർക്കുന്നു. I oppose this bill because this can only be opposed. So today in the morning, I raised an issue here in the House regarding the women participation in the employment. It fell down to 17.2% in April, June 2021. Labor force is the force that creates the wealth. And that force is most significant for the country's future also. But the government forget them. And with the labor force, women consist a very important role. But in this country of ours, the share of the women, it is not going up, it comes down. And the government always closes its eyes to this fact. That's why we ask the question, where this money was spent, for what you spent the money. We all know very well about the term NPA, non-performing assets. A finance minister who is very, very calm and cool on this issue is a wonder for me. And you find a solution, and that solution is haircuts. I am very sure, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman is well aware of the haircut theory. Sir, haircut theory is nothing but a gimmick of figures. In fact, non-performing assets are performing as non-performed. Nothing is getting back to the government, but a part of it given to them. And the government close the eyes to the rest of it and say that that question is solved and resolved forever. So this kind of haircut and headcut issues, tactics and gimmicks will not help the economy. And this appropriation also is going to make a very negative impact on our country and on its people. What will you give for the MSMEs? What will you give for the people working in the informal sector? They are the maximum in this country's workforce, and the government forget them. So the budget, even though it was acclaimed by the people in the treasury benches as a budget of a growth scenario, the fact is telling us that budget is a budget of decline, a budget of disaster, because that budget was silent on very important issues. What about subsidies? About food subsidy? What about Manrega funds? What about health sector? What education? On all these sectors, this government's budget is really disappointing to the country. But Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, out of his skill on languages and her goodwill, is trying to tell the country that this budget is going to help the country to reach that goal that they proclaimed. What was the goal? The goal was a $5 trillion economy, $5 trillion economy. And how far we are now. When we heard that statement for the first time, we were at a certain point. Now when we hear it once again and twice again and many times again, we know that we are lagging behind. But still the government is making that words, which are hollow words before the country. And that government is coming to the house with a bill for appropriating money. Sir, this appropriation for what? Sir, is this for the people to be killed? Is it for the army to be strengthened? Is it to buy the bullets and guns for the people to be destroyed? All these are my questions. And that's why I told this cannot be supported, this can only be opposed. About the cryptocurrency, she spoke in the speech also, digital economy. And that economy is coming to the scene in India. The country is worried about that. Cryptocurrency, in fact, is doing a harmful work on the economy. And nobody is sure how authentic it can be. But the government very, very peacefully is saying that the digital economy is coming to save us. What about the Paytm scam? Scams are coming up, propping up every day. Big people whom we thought that are the big saviors of the economy, or the banks and institutions, they are all now facing the music. The government knows it, and the government folds its hand in support of them, and powers are with them. And those powers are just doing their service, not the service of the nation or the poor people. So the workers, the peasants, they ask the government, do you remember us only when elections come? Yes, when polls are coming, you remember them. Once it is over, you forget them. The country cannot proselytize to the fact that the LIC, the GIC, the public sector, everything is going to be finished up by this government. I don't want to tell you the whole figures of that. LIC, it's a goose that laid eggs that are golden for this country. And that goose is going to be killed by you. The GIC is also facing a trouble because of the government's policies. The PSUs are also going to be wound up by this country, by the ministry. So the finance minister, even though very, very vocal, when speak about Atmanirbhar Bharat, is in real times is doing very, very dangerous steps about the Atmanirbhar concept itself, because the government is now supporting the FDI. I wonder how a government and a party talking so loud about the country's Atmanirbhar, that government is now with begging bowls before the FDI. We know what is FDI. It is foreign direct investment, and that investment is from the corporates of the world. The whole economy is now being surrendered before them, and appropriation is also trying to support that view. So let me finish with the words. We are not expected to be with that move. We oppose it, and we continue to oppose it, and we say that this kind of a policy is not for the benefits of India. India is the country where the maximum people who are poor are living. The country of the hunger, the country of the hungry people, the country where children dies before the age of 5 years of age. This is the country where the maximum number of women are facing the difficulties due to anemia. This is the country where the maximum number of people, crores of them, have no huts to live. And our people, starving people, those don't have the clothing properly, don't have the place to live, no water to drink, safe drinking water, no safe air, and this country is the house of those kind of crowds of people. But you are thinking about the corporate funds of yours, the FDI funds of yours. For them, you come with the budgets and appropriation bills. And I oppose this once again. I conclude here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Faujia Khan.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, sir.